Hello everyone, and today I will be helping you get started in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, helping you build your first functional deck, as well as showing you your thought process behind a game, as well as what to aim for in order to progress in building your ideal deck. So first, let me just remind you that this deck that I'm going to be helping you build is just going to be functional, not perfect. It is near impossible to build a perfect deck right now, given the current monetization and liquefying model in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, but hopefully with this deck you will be able to go into solo mode, clear out all the practice AI, as all of them do give you rupees, as well as going to clear your daily missions, as well as clearing your feats, in particular the win 5 ranked matches as whatever craft, giving you 500 vails. And this would hopefully help you build more cards. So now let's first get started with building a deck. I will be building two decks, one for the craft which I had the most legendaries for, that being Abysscraft, and the one which I have the least, that being Portalcraft. So now let's first get started with Abysscraft. Now, the first thing when it comes to building a deck for me is finding your win condition. Now, let's be honest with the way Shadowverse is designed, most win conditions come from legendaries. So I was lucky enough to get 3 Cerberuses, so I'll immediately put all 3 of her in. Now, what does Cerberus do? How does she help me win the game? Now, Cerberus summons Mimi and Coco, and Mimi deals 2 damage to enemy leader, and Coco helps you restore 2 damage to your own leader. And with Super Evo, she can reanimate 2 of them. So a very common strategy that you use Cerberus for is you spawn Cerberus, you get Mimi killed, and then you Super Evo her to get 2 more Mimis, cause the same follower can be reanimated twice. And that way, you have a total of 7 damage to face in that turn, since Super Evo kill is an additional damage. So now, what we have to think about is how do we support that victory? How do we first reach Cerberus? And then how do we end with Cerberus? Now, if I use both my Super Evos on turn 8 and turn 9, that's a total of 14 damage. And since healing isn't really that prevalent in the game yet, I will probably just need another 7 to 10 damage in order to finish off my opponent. Now, how do I do that? While I could trust my opponent to maybe leave a follower on my field to swing at them, that is not the most reliable way to win, right? So I'll first have to put in more cards with maybe Storm or cards with leader damage effects in order to help me get the remaining damage. Cause remember, at the end of the day, winning is slamming the opponent leader down to 20 HP. It doesn't matter if you wipe their field every turn, it doesn't matter what you do, unless you can end your opponent. So I'll first start off by putting cards with Storm that I know won't interfere with Cerberus. What do I mean by interfere with Cerberus? Now with Cerberus, her super evolve is Reanimate 1. Why do I have to take note of this? It is because I want to guarantee that it is either Mimi or Coco that spawns, no one else. And if I put in a card like, let's say, Lilith and Enchanting Succubus, she's a 1-cost follower, right? So if I put her before Cerberus and she gets killed, then there's a chance that Cerberus would reanimate her. And she is a lot weaker than Mimi or Coco. Alongside that, there is also a Bat. A Bat is a 1-cost follower, so I also can't put in bats, as I don't want a bat. I want one of the 2 dogs. So immediately, all 1-cost followers cannot be put in this deck, as they will either end up being a blockage in my hand, or they will end up blocking Cerberus' Super Evil. So I'll immediately move on to the 2 costs, starting with Devious Lesser Mummy. Fanfare Necromancy 4 give this follower Storm. I'll put him in. Why? Because he has Storm, and that helps me in my win condition. And even if he doesn't, a 2-cost 2/2 on the field is something that your opponent will have to worry about and will have to clear. If not, then next turn I can hit it I can hit them in the face with it anyways. Moving on, I will also put in Rage of Serpents, which will allow me to deal 3 damage to the enemy leader. Now, while I will prefer to have 3 copies of this, I only have 1, so that will have to do. Next, Balto Dusk Bounty Hunter. Again, another one that gives me a crest that will deal a total of 4 damage to both me and the enemy leader. However, since I have so much effect damage, I will trust that I can end them before they can end me. So, once again, this is another card that I wish I had 3 copies of, but I only have 1, so I'll just put it in. And then, next, another card with Storm. Shadow Crypt Memorial, which would give me 2 copies of Ghost when I engage it. Now, Ghost is a 0 cost 1/1 with Storm. So once again, aiding in my win condition. I will put 3 copies of this in. Then next, a follower that I can put in that also deals 3 damage to both enemy leaders. So that once again helps with my win condition. And it also has Field Clear, as it deals 7 damage split between all enemy followers. Aragavi, I was lucky enough to pull it. But this isn't necessary in your deck, it's just good to have in your deck. I have it, so I'll put it in. And then next, another follower with Storm, Mistress of the Fanged. Now, I will take this card out eventually, but if you don't have any of the cards that I have in my deck, she's a fine addition to have in, as it's just another 3 damage to help you push your win condition. So I'll just slot it in. And with that, that should be all of the... This all should aim for one thing only, and that is to help me achieve my win condition, which is Cerberus, and for Cerberus to end the game. So now, what else do I need to consider? I have all my leader damage here. What next? Next comes drawing, right? I might have 3 copies of Cerberus, but there is no guarantee that I can draw Cerberus. So how do I help thin out my deck and draw my win conditions? Well, first card that I will always want to put in, a universal card, Leia Bellringer Angel. There is honestly no deck that you can't put her in. She's just universally useful. Draw, last words, draw a card, and evolve, draw another card. You don't need to evolve her, and she already helps you thin out the deck. Alongside that, she's a 0/2 ward, so she helps you delay the game. And delaying the game means that you don't die to aggro decks like Sword, and it helps you reach your Cerberus and allows you to do the double Cerberus turn I was telling you about. So I'll put 3 copies of her in. Next, more draw, Chaos Cyclone. Again, another always useful card. I can draw a follower with it, or I can use it to reanimate Leia or Devious Mummy, so I'll put it in. Soul Predation, again, another draw card. I shouldn't have to worry about sacrificing followers, as I have a lot of crap that I can sacrifice in the form of the ghost, so I can put it in. Now, for now, I will put in Seraphic Tidings, because it's once again another card that I can universally use. There is no turn where it's bad to draw 2 additional cards, right? So I'll put it in for now, but cards like these can be swapped out for a more specific card to aid in your win condition. For example, if I got more Rage of Serpents or more Balto, then I can take this out. But now, moving on to the next step. So, I have my win conditions, I have my deck thinners. Next, I need to make sure that I survive till I can get Cerberus. And one card that's very good is Reaper's Death Slash. Now, with how my deck is built currently, it suffers a lot from dealing with big followers. If they slam down like a 10-10, for example, it'll be very hard for my deck to deal with without needing to evolve. So Reaper's Death Slash is just a very easy way to quickly deal with a follower. So I'll put in 3 copies of this. Now, all the cards that I put in from now on will just be to help me stall towards my win condition, Cerberus. Now, another one that's really good at clearing field, Authors. And alongside that, Healing and Bane, Feel Clear, Ceres, also another very good card. I'll put it in. And then Medusa, I managed to get 2 copies of her. Again, another very good Feel Clear and a threat that your opponent must respond to during their turn. So I'll put it in. They cannot ignore Medusa. If not, next turn when she gets ward, she hits for... Sorry, next turn when she can attack enemy leader, she can hit for 3 times, and that's not good. So putting Medusa down means giving your opponent a threat that they must respond to during their turn. So they can't, let's say, just ignore it and go for your face. Unless they can kill you, Medusa will kill them next turn. And another card that is always universally useful is Olivia. Draw 2 cards, restore 2 defense, and recover 2 play points, along with the Super Evo, which actually combos very well with Ceres. Because Ceres, her Super Evo effect is not on evolve, but is in fact at the end of the turn when she is Super Evolved. So, unlike most cards Super Evo, Ceres does not lose her Super Evolve effect from Olivia Super Evolving her. So I'll put Olivia in. Again, all these cards are not really necessary, they're just good to have. If you don't have them, it is perfectly fine to replace them with something else. So now, with 3 remaining slots, what do we want to look for? Now we just have to think about what we need in the deck. What will help us in our win condition. So in this case, a card that I've really liked from my testing is Beryl, Nightmare Incarnate. As even though you pay quite a harsh price of 3 damage to your leader at the start, if she survives, or even if she dies, let's say you put her down on turn 2 and she dies the next turn, you have Chaos Cyclone that can reanimate her without the fanfare cost. And then once you reanimate her, you can evolve her to restore 5 defense. So this is not only a big body in the early game, but it is also a stall card, as it allows you to stall out your opponent by healing 5 health. So I'll put 3 copies of this in. And now my deck is full, but I have cards that I would prefer to have put in compared to others. Mistress of the Fanged is a very good filler card, as there is not really a bad time to play her. However, I do have cards that are way better than her at doing her job, that being Storm push damage. I have 3 copies of Cerberus, I have Agravy. I don't really need Mistress of the Fanged, so I'll take her out, and instead, I would rather have Mino, as she gives me a skeleton. And a skeleton is 0 cost, which will allow me to use Soul Predation and Reaper's Death Slash on the skeleton whenever I want to. Alongside that, she also has Rush and Bane to deal with any big followers that isn't hidden behind a ward. Not to mention she's also really cheap, so it helps in the early game aggro. And she's also 2 cost, which means that she won't block Cerberus. So I'll put 3 copies of her in. And with that, I think this deck is pretty much done. I have every card in here serves a clear purpose, whether it's just there to fill until I can get better cards, or whether it's there to help me push for damage, whether it's there to help me clear the field. Every card here has a place. So, with this, I will now move on to a deck that I don't have a lot of legends in, that being Portal. Now, I was actually lucky that Portal was the craft that I ended up not having a lot of legends in, as honestly, Portal is the one deck that you can get away with no legendaries. As legendaries aren't really the win condition for Portal, you get it for free from your artifacts. So that will be my win condition, right? Getting my artifacts out and ending the game with Masterwork artifact. So I will immediately put any card that can give me artifacts. Elise, Artifact Recharge, Ironheart Hunter, Electric Whiplash, Stream of Life, Kitty Cannoneer, Bullet from Beyond, Rukina, Alouette, Doomrite, Doomrite is good because it helps me with my win condition. I'll explain more in a bit. Ancient Cannon, and that's it. These are all the cards that I have that helps me generate artifacts. And now I will go on to explain why Doomrite is important. Now, the thing about Artifact Portal is, once you put down your Masterwork artifact, that's it. You really don't have anything else to help you win the game. Not to mention the amount of resources you have to invest into making the Masterwork artifact means that you lose all tempo of the game as soon as that Masterwork artifact comes out. So you have to make sure that the Masterwork artifact allows you to kill the opponent, or you have something else to kill them the very next turn. If not, all your tempo is gone, your opponent's tempo still remains, and even if you do them 10 damage, you heal, the moment they clear that Masterwork artifact, you're screwed. So, with all these cards, now, it doesn't look very impressive, right? No legendaries, no nothing. Of course, I would wish to have Ralmia in this deck. If you do, slot her in as many copies as possible. But I don't. So these are all that I have, and this is what I have to make do with. And alongside that, with the same principle as before, now how do I support my win condition? How do I achieve my win condition? And that's where Doomrite comes in. Doomrite allows me to summon 2 artifact followers that cost 5 or less. And one of the artifact followers you can summon is the one that deals 3 damage to enemy leader. And that is how you sort of chip damage your opponent to put them within kill range of the Masterwork artifact. But for now, I will do the same thing. I'll put in cards that can clear and cards that can deck in. Once again, Olivia, cause there is no bad situation that you don't want to play her in. Sylvia, cause she allows you to restore 4 defense, she gives you draw, and she also has field clear. So, universally useful. I could put in Orcus, and I will, because she has Storm, and she allows me to summon a field that can either help clear or push damage. But I'm gonna be honest, once you get Ralmia, I think that you can take out Orcus. I will put in UD just because she can help me draw as well as help me heal, so stalling out the game. And another card that I've really liked recently has been Medical Grade Assassin, as I feel that a thing that Artifact deck struggles a lot with is field clearing big followers, and Medical Grade Assassin gives you a puppet with with Bane that achieves that purpose really easily, so I'll put 3 copies of it in. Now, looking at this deck, I am actually still not satisfied with it, as after testing, I have found that Rukina is not really that needed, as Rukina needs an evolve, and her evolve effect isn't that good. I'd rather save my evolve for UD and Alouette. And because of that, Alouette is a must evolve, because I want to summon more of the Artifact B that deals 3 damage to enemy leader. And I'd rather evolve Sylvia to immediately clear a follower instead of having Rukina just summon a striker artifact. So I would tentatively take her out. And I think that I do already have enough artifact generators. That's why I decided to take her out. And instead, in order to hit my better cards, I will once again put in Leia, a universally useful card. So now these are my 2 decks, and I will play a match with both of them to sort of go through the thought process behind using the deck. Alright, now we start off first with Abysscraft. And my matchup is Portalcraft, so I will first have to think of the matchup. What can Portalcraft do? And what do I have to do to counter it? Now, Portalcraft, like I mentioned before, struggles a lot with clearing big followers. Alongside that, I know that after they play the Masterwork artifact, if they do, they struggle a lot to end the game afterwards. So there's 2 ways I can go about winning this. First, I end them before they can get out the Masterwork artifact. Second, I survive the Masterwork artifact turn, and then I play it out from there. So, with my starting hand, I don't need Cerberus, because I can't do anything with her right now. She's too much. So I will just go with Chaos Cyclone, Soul Predation. Alright, this is a good hand as it allows me to refresh it a lot. Argavi and Medusa cannot be played, so I just have to go on with what I have. So turn 2, just play Leia.
Only ransom I take is
Okay.
blood.
And now I have a choice. I can play Shadow Crypt Memorial or I can play Barrel. But I have to think whether or not they can clear the Barrel. As if they clear her, then it would be for nothing. Cause I would rather save her for the restore 5 health. So for now I'll just play Shadow Crypt. And I can activate this right away, right? To either kill the 2/2 or deal damage to face. But I can also do that the next turn. There's no real harm with leaving it on the field, as I might need it next turn for something more important. Alongside that, I don't really care if Leia dies. If anything, if the 2/2 hits the Leia, that's perfectly fine with me. So I'll just end my turn. Alright, now that's annoying, but now you see, I could have played a 2/2 last turn, and honestly, in hindsight, it would have been better, right? But I didn't know that they had Kitty Cannoneer, and honestly, 2 damage is perfectly fine. This turn, I will just play Chaos Cyclone, get Reanimate 2, get back my Leia for another draw, and then I will play Devious Lesser Mummy and Ghost, and then now I can clear the field. Now, I could go for face here, but Ironheart Hunter has an evolve skill that can instantly clear my field, so I have to respect that and clear her.
Never forgive.
The curious artificer dons their mask.
Trajectory calculated.
Possibility.
Now, this is what I was talking about with Alouette pushing damage with the Ominous Artifact B. And with this, along with Doomrite Resurgence, this is how you win with Artifact. You just try and push damage with this by summoning it out again and again till your opponent hits the kill range of 13 HP. Now, I might be damaging myself now, but that's because there's still a long while before you can get out the Masterwork artifact, and I can heal, so it's perfectly fine. And even with this 3 damage, it might allow me to end him before he can even reach the 10 play points needed.
This burden is mine to bear.
Now, if he evolves this, it's a bad evo, because it doesn't really accomplish anything with the Striker artifact, but if he doesn't, I still have my 6/1 left, so he has no choice.
Hope is the greatest weapon we can pass on.
On to the next hunt.
I only read on the clock.
Now this turn I don't really have to do anything, so
Nothing personal.
I'll just try and set up for my win condition by drawing more.
Now this will be a feast.
is both cradle and grave.
Okay, that's a play that pretty much does nothing. I mean, it draws 2 cards, but honestly, that's about it. I can clear it next turn with Barrel Evo, and now I start healing back.
A peek of skin just for you. Are you having any fun yet? Reality's just no fun. One nightmare
It
coming
is
up.
what it is.
And I will now play Shadow Crypt Memorial, but once again, I won't use it. And this will help slowly build up to my win condition. I could Devious Lesser Mummy here, but honestly, I could do it next turn as well. There's no point playing it now. In fact, what I want to do is try and maybe draw a Cerberus. Ah. Alright, with the position I'm in now, next turn, even if he pulls out another artifact B that deals me 3 damage, I have another barrel that can allow me to heal. So that's perfectly fine. I am still out of kill range for the... Ah, that's an annoying play. Yikes! Alright, I'm about to take some big damage here. But by using... What? What? Huh? Now that's what we call a misplay. He could have pushed me for way more damage by super evolving the Orcus, but we make our choices, I guess. Now I could Medusa here, but I would honestly rather save it for the super artifact. Instead, what I want to do in order to just be safe is Mino into Barrel Super Evolve and heal more. As I haven't found my Cerberus yet. Because how this game is going so far is I'm not gonna end him before the Masterwork artifact. So I'm gonna try and end him after it.
A peek of skin just for you. Keep this up all day. Allow me to rock. Yep. One nightmare coming up.
And then Leia to just clear my hand. Maybe get Cerberus. So with Cerberus now, what I will want to do is heal more instead. And just outlive the Masterwork artifact turn. That is currently my goal. In order to fully increase my chances to win the game. In fact, even if he wastes his one... Okay.
And gained a heart. Let down your guard.
Trajectory.
Wait, but now what?
I want to be heard. Let down your guard.
Frankly, I have no clue what he's doing. But here's the thing, right? Now, with how the game has changed, if he pulls out a third Orcus, so be it, fair game, I lose. But he should no way have enough artifacts to pull out Masterwork artifact. So that's no longer a threat. So I'll just play safe now, play my Medusa.
Or swallowed whole. Be swallowed. Be swallowed.
And play Altus.
Rough and raring to go.
And now he should have no kill pressure on me. If he pulls out another Orcus, he has no more evos for the double puppet. And if he pulls... And he can't pull out Masterwork artifact. He didn't get enough artifacts. So I'm still in a perfectly fine condition, even though I have such low health. It is of course still a bit unlucky that I didn't manage to pull any of my Cerberuses, but so be it. It's a card game. Luck is part of it. Now I just have to think of what he can do to end me, right? maybe next turn, if I still don't get any healing, he double Doom Rights me. That can end me. But other than that, there is nothing he can really do. And in fact, if he doesn't feel clear me this turn, if he leaves the Medusa, next turn I just play Balto, super evil the Medusa, and he dies.
Spark of inspiration. Looking for a spark of inspiration.
And there we go, it's over.
It's really heating up now. Thanks for Be swallowed! Be swallowed! Be swallowed!
I won't give up.
I'm Cerberus.
Now that was a weird game with the Orcus misplay, and honestly, a big problem with most newbies, honestly, is that they don't know how to build a win condition. So hopefully this video helps with that. As you can see from what the guy did, he also didn't really have a win condition. He just double Orcused, but that wasn't enough to kill me, and afterwards, he just did nothing. And he lost. So now I'll show you the Portal Craft deck. This one will be a lot harder because I don't really have a lot of the more important cards. I will keep UD for the evolve. I will keep these two. But I want at least one big card in my hand, just in case. Hopefully I get the Artifact Cannon. Doomright is fine. And I have what we call the Perfect Curve. I have a turn 1 card, a turn 2 card.
Looking for a spark of inspiration.
And that's my Ancient Cannon for the field clear.
I'm armed for a freaking circus.
Now, Runecraft is... Honestly, the thing is, while you might not have a complete deck, not everyone you run into the ladder will be a whale or whatever, so you have to remember that they probably also don't have complete decks. So, if this Runecraft player, unless he has like every legendary, his deck should be very incomplete, which means that I am perfectly still in a position to win this, even though I don't have a lot of my own win conditions. Now, while I said I would save medical grade assassins for big followers, I don't really expect Runecraft to put down big followers, and I already have Orcus for that in the late game. Runecraft can't put down big stuff in the early game, so I'll just play it now in order to clear the Miranda, because she has an evolve effect to clear my field, and I'll use the remaining two to just push damage. So now that I've seen the Miranda, that's really the only thing along with 2 foresights, I know that he's playing Spell Boost, which means I have to end him fast. And that's my field gone.
Defeat is not an option.
Screaming has stopped.
Major bummer. Dude, watch the thingamajigs.
And now here's what I do. My hand right now is very awkward because I don't have a lot of my artifact generating. So what I want to do is hopefully just... I'll take the damage, I'll take the L. Because past this 6 damage, there isn't really a lot that they can do. And I'll try and play towards my win condition instead. I'll even save the fuses. There's no point fusing now, because it might hit the end summoning that would just go away at the end of the turn anyways.
May wings be at your back.
Now this might be bad, but it's perfectly fine. Now I just play the UD.
I'll be your mentor.
Trajectory. Calculated.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
And wait, let me count. So I have 1, 2. Alright, I don't actually have to trade with the UD. I can just
circus.
fuse. Fuse again. And then fuse one more time. And there we go. Now, this is a game where I don't actually have to spend a lot of effort on using Doomrite and Alouette because of all the damage I've inflicted early on. That is annoying though.
You're done.
Crawl like the vermin you are.
I'll see you tomorrow.
That's a weird trading pattern. Now, he made a mistake here. He could have left his board a lot stronger than it is now. But he chose to instead trade poorly, which gives me a chance to just Olivia.
Fly forth into an endless sky.
Now, I would prefer to Leia here, but if I Leia, I can't kill this for Olivia to kill the Kuon. So I have no choice but to use the Electro Whiplash.
I'm armed for a freaking circus.
This might hurt. Even fate shall fall to this blade.
Lol.
Trade,
Major bummer.
trade.
Follow my lead.
Into the night.
And now this is another field that he will have to clear. Unlucky that I didn't draw Sylvia, but that's fine. I heal. And he wasted one of his cool ones. And hopefully he doesn't have 3, but even if he does, he can't play another one till a while later. So I'm still perfectly fine.
I give up.
Major bummer.
May wings be at your back.
So now that I've drawn my 2 Orcuses, this changes things. I can, instead of using artifacts, cause let's be honest, I don't really have a lot of artifacts, I can try and push for victory using Orcus and Ominous Artifact B, cause that's a lot easier to get than the whole Masterwork artifact. So I'll play Orcus.
I lost my strengths and gained a heart. Let down your guard.
Super Evolve.
Don't miss.
I want to be heard. Let down, come back.
And just hit face. And with my hand, I am pretty much ready for any threats he has. If he spreads out the field, I can clear it with Ancient Cannon. If he plays down something big, I have Sylvia on my other Orcus. I am now in a very good position. Meanwhile, well, he's 5 HP. He's on the brink of death. It could be game here, unless in those 8 cards he has some big clearer.
Special assignment today. On to the next round.
Annoying, but it's fine. Now he has less cards than he started off with.
New year, new me.
Ugh, that's annoying. Now what do I do here? If I have had another super evil, I could have ended, but I needed it to clear the cool one. So what I will do is just try and build up to my win condition.
Remain calm. It will be over soon.
So I will use the enhanced puppet. Kill this, because it's the only thing my artifact Y can't kill. Play this again.
Don't forget to review.
Play Leia, and hopefully I get an artifact generator. And next turn I can get the artifact B. Now I could have used Doomright for Ominous Artifact Y, but the thing is I want to save it so that I can go for a double artifact B and end the game that way.
Wings be at your back.
None shall escape the lash of my flame!
Defeat is not an
The
option.
screaming has stopped.
I'll always watch over you.
Now this is annoying, but it's perfectly fine. All we have to do now, I have all the tools needed to end him next turn, unless he heals a lot. So I have to make sure he doesn't kill me this turn, or on his next turn. So I'll play Sylvia, I will heal,
This land is both cradle and grave.
and I'll just wipe his field.
Trajectory calculated. Why seek to fall from paradise?
This kitten's got claws.
7, 7, 3. I can fuse one time. I have no choice.
Guilty.
Caught us off guard.
If I could fuse twice, then I could have left Sylvia with more HP, but there is no choice.
Ready, Graham?
Right behind
Alright.
you, man.
He's pretty much lost.
It is what it is.
So now I just fuse these two. I get my artifact B, and then I just play this.
Follow me.
And I play this again.
Follow me.
And that's it. GG's.
Caught us off guard.
All burnt out. Confirming target neutralization.
And with that, I hope that I have taught you enough to get started at least on Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. Once again, I know that the way they did their monetization is very scummy. I too wish that I could have all of my favorite crafts with fully completed decks, but we do the best with what we're given, right? And with this, I have hopefully shown you how to get started with your own ranked journey, your own unranked journey, whatever you plan to do to get resources and to help you build towards your ideal deck. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or honestly any tips on how I present myself, feel free to leave it in the comments. But of course, be nice to each other and be nice to me. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.